Hello Leo, it's September 2019, Dadhichi here with your month in focus, a very brief look at what's going on in the heavens for you. And as you can see straight away here, this second house of your horoscope contains quite a few planets straight after this new moon that occurred in the very last day or two of August, focusing on material and financial matters. Not badly supported here by the position of Saturn, South Node and Pluto in your 6th house, but a little challenged by speculative Jupiter in the 5th house. So you've got to be careful of that. Also, I don't often make note of the position of the North Node in this 12th house. Your desire is very, very strong. And there's a desire, maybe for some of you at least, to recreate the past. That you have to be careful of, because it's all about moving forward, taking those lessons of the past forward and improving what you have right now. Mars, Sun, Mercury and Venus, all in the 2nd house, show too much of a concentration on money matters, finance. And of course the fiery planets are not altogether welcome here. They can show a lot of drive and energy for that. Here we've got the moon with speculative Jupiter on the 6th. Again, look at the tight squares to that. Your desire may cause you to act too impulsively. You do not want losses to accumulate. That may be shown here by the moon transiting into this 6th house of debt. Moon rules your 12th house. Keep an eye on this lunar position, because for you the moon is not a great planet, and as it transits into its full moon phase, here it's going to take place in your 8th house, which has to do with shared resources this month. So the trigger for that is when it moves here on the 10th into your zone of personal relationships, one-on-one business associations as well. And you can see that that's well fortified by some of these aspects here. But Neptune is in this 8th house, and that can show some confusion or a little bit of cloudiness about these sort of issues. Shared resources have to do with money, but it also has to do with matters of intimacy. There it is there around the 13th and 14th when it moves into proximity of Neptune. You've got to be way too idealistic at this time. You may be expecting your partner to act in ways that are just not in keeping with who that person's personality is. So be realistic at this time. The full moon is taking place here. That's what I'm talking about. So emotionally you could be rather effusive. You could be overreactive to words, actions, or even neither. You may just be projecting some of your feelings on other people at this time. Notice Venus and Mercury fortunately move out of this area. That leaves the 2 fiery planets left here after the 15th in your 2nd house of finance. You have immense drive right now, and that's also shown by the placement of erratic and explosive Uranus in your 10th house of career. That ain't going away soon. Moon will trigger that. Any other planets that are in transit, in aspect to that planet, will trigger that. So this dynamic combination of fiery planets along with Uranus shows that you are really trying to achieve something different, something better. You're lifting yourself to a new level professionally, and that's okay as long as you are not impulsive and you do it with the facts and in a well-informed way. 11th house is very sociable, usually gives some fulfillment to what you're looking for. There's a transit of that into the 12th house after the 22nd. That's the desire nature we're talking about. And it's also irrational fears, by the way. You may be so worried at this time about not having the security that you want. And as I've said on many occasions, security has more to do with how you feel about yourself rather than how much money you have. Notice the ingress there into the 3rd house, Sun into Libra around the 22nd, 23rd. That's going to make contact here and burn up this Venus over the next week or two. That will be a topic for next month. But The third house has to do with communication. It's got to do with journeys, travels. And watch the moon swing around here as all of the focus shifts from this second house of money into this third house of communications, travels, thinking and ideas. You might start to realize it's not simply a matter of getting the money. You have to be satisfied mentally and in terms of your communication. A new moon takes place right at the tail end of the month here, as you can see, on the 29th in this third house. So this heralds the beginning of a brand new chapter in your life and in the way you communicate. It doesn't sit well there. This is what we call a T-square on the nodal axis. So you realize that what you're going to do now is going to have an amazing impact on your life. And these desires that you have can be regulated by the way in which you think, the way in which you present your ideas, and the way in which you generally move about in your social circle. So I hope that's given you a little bit of just a teaser this month. Take a look at some of the other meanings we have for these transits as astrology.com.au, my website. Take a look also at the yearly forecast, because that can give you an idea contextually where all this is going. And I always invite my listeners and viewers to take advantage of perhaps a personal reading with me where we can get down into the nitty-gritty based upon your personal horoscope, rather than this general view, which is a little difficult to get pinpoint for each and every one of you. I hope you'll do that. I look forward to it, and I also look forward to your company next month. Bye-bye.